parts are removed from the spring, you need to clean them up. We want to clean them up because those mould lines are quite unattractive, and once you start applying paint and then your shades, they'll become more and more apparent, and it's going to ruin an otherwise perfectly good paint job. So my two parts cut out from last time. The cloak, which I tried to do as good as I could, and his leg and chest, where I faffed it up a little bit, just to demonstrate how to use tools properly and their limitations. So I'm going to start by using the Citadel mould line removal tool. So this is basically a product designed because Games Workshop couldn't sell knives anymore, really, because they're a toy shop, not a utility store or whatever else. And generally any sort of selling to under 18s of this stuff was frowned upon. You still get away with selling glue and paint though. Anyway, so identify where you want now. Okay, so we've got a nice mould line running along here and the injection moulding point here. So I'm going to use this tool and see what we do. So that is our cutting, well, not cutting surface, but cutting surface. I'm going to run that over where that mould line is and try and scrape that plastic off. Okay. It's actually, in some ways, quite a good tool because because it's not sharp. You have to work quite hard to remove it, but also because it's not sharp, it will leave a bit of a texture. So if you can see there, you can see scrapes in it. So there we go. Now, problems you're going to get is if you haven't removed that injection moulding point, like this one quite here, you're going to struggle to remove it with one of these. It's possible, and I'm going to struggle. Oh, I snapped that one off. Oh, it's left a little bit of a crater though, if you can see that. Thankfully this is on the back of the leg. When we paint this up, you shouldn't notice it. But we'll try it again on this bit here. So what I'm doing is I'm just scratching a little layer of plastic off each time. Just quite laborious. And I've got better things to do with my time. So I'm going to put this mould line removal tool to one side. I'm going to drag out my scalpel. Okay, so yeah, safety warnings and all that. It's a sharp thing. It's going to cut you if you stick it in you. Right. Always try and cut away from you. Sometimes you'll have to cut towards you. Just be careful. If you are going to cut towards you, make sure there's a bit of the miniature between you and the cutting edge. So if I were to cut this like this, if it flicked off, it would probably hit here or here, and also there's nothing here for it to cut unless it went down like that. Just be careful, okay guys? So because it's nice and new and sharp, I can literally get that in there and slice it off until it's all gone. So that's that nubbin removed. Looks a little rough at the moment, so now what I can use is use the back edge of the blade. It's going to lightly scrape that across, and because it's sharp, it's going to remove that material quite fast. There is a risk that if you do that too much, you'll cut a channel into it. Not cut a channel, cut a flat. Okay, so you can see from the angle there, that is a curved surface. If you were to run the blade across it too many times, you create a flat. When you come to paint it, the light's going to catch it in such a way that will easily show up as a flat surface rather than the nice curve it should be. So just be careful when you clean up that part there. What I'll do is I'll just take the rest of my time and I'll clean these parts up. They are getting better with their moulding, and they're hiding the mould lines in seams or inside where components would join. See it. That's a part to watch out for. I just sliced it off, and very slightly I've caused a flat there. Very slightly, so be careful on parts like that, especially where the walls are thinner in these little grooves. Okay. Yeah, go back to this one. I'm going to smooth out that part. You can see all the shavings that have just come off. And that little nub in there. So that's a good place to put the injection moulding part, because once the model's assembled, you'll never see that. So you can ruin that to your heart's content. It's a nice one across here. This is where scraping it flat would actually benefit the miniature, because this is meant to be a flat surface, but actually it raises up, because this is where the two parts of the mould would meet. So that part there is raised. So what we're going to do is actually flatten it down. And you can take quite a bit of material off. And same on the other side. Okay, so now I've shown you how to remove the parts from the sprue and clean them up using appropriate tools. The next part I'm going to show you is how to stick them all together. Okay, see you next time.